it might not be the most exciting video for you guys, but probably the most exciting video for me to do, because I learned the right way to do this free diving stuff, which means future content will be better for you guys. Hey, good morning everybody. Josh Buck here from the Big Island of Hawaii. Super stoked about this morning. I'm driving over to Hilo right now for some dive lessons with a guy named Mike Judd. He's a professional diver, spear fisherman, been doing this for a long time. I met him down at South Point. Now, I've never had any training, but not only have I never had any training for free diving or spear fishing, I've never been with anybody experienced. I've only been with people that can snorkel. I've never been with anybody that actually dives and can show me some tips and pointers and how to do some things. So I'm super stoked to be going over here, spending 2 days with him and just a couple other guys, learning how to dive deeper, how to hold my breath longer, how to conserve energy. So above shore, doing apnea training, and that's what I've done is I've Googled, I've done some research, watched some YouTube videos. I do some apnea trainings to hold your breath longer and then exhale. When your body needs to breathe, it's actually your body telling you that it needs to exhale carbon dioxide, not that it needs oxygen. So your body senses too much carbon dioxide, and that's why you feel that strong urge to breathe. So apnea trainings help you get past that feeling or that necessity to breathe and be able to hold your breath longer and longer and longer. So above shore I can do that, but the problem is when I get in the water I start working harder, I'm not proficient, and so even though I can hold my breath for 2.5 to 3 minutes above shore, which they call static apnea, when I get in the water and it's active, I don't have quite the same hold time. I don't have anywhere near that, and I'm lucky if I stay down there for a minute. And so going over here, gonna get some training with him. I'm expecting great things. He has great reviews, good dude. I met him when I was down spearfishing. He went out and came back in with quite the haul, and I watched him sit and chill on the bottom for minutes. So super stoked to head over here. Hawaii mornings, and especially going the east direction, are absolutely gorgeous, and so I'm heading to the east side of the island this morning over to Hilo. Love the drive, love early mornings, so I'm super stoked about this morning. I think I've said that a whole bunch of times, but really excited to be heading over here. So guys, appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. If you like the content, please go down and at least hit that thumbs up button or turn on the bell and subscribe to my channel. So other than that, guys, super stoked to be heading over here. Can't wait to get some training and give you some better dive videos. We'll talk to you soon. Up here to Richardson Beach. This is one of my favorite little drives here in Hilo. This is the first beach that I went to when I got to Hilo. I landed at the airport, dropped off my stuff at the hotel, Googled a beach and got Richardson. Seemed like a weird name for a Hawaiian beach, but it's a beautiful black sand beach. There's a story behind it that I'll tell after I get out of the water, but right now I've got to get in the water, get all my stuff prepared. So super stoked to go out here diving, man. Perfect place to bring the family to if you're a beginner at snorkeling. Great place to come. The water is a little bit more chilly than straight salt water because of that brackish water, but man, I'm excited to get in the water. It looks like Mike's in front of me, so take you guys for the ride. We got in the water and we did a lot of the different safety things and knowing how to rescue somebody if they're in trouble. And then at the end, we did an apnea training in the water where I was able to hold my breath for a little bit over 3 minutes. So I knew in my mind that I could hold my breath in that long, but I had to make my heart and my body listen to the same thing. So first, Mike demonstrates what we're going to be doing. He's descending down. Each of those tape marks is 5 different meters, excluding the first one. So we would pull ourselves down to 5 meters and come back up, then 10 meters, 15, 20. We were trying to kick in our mammalian reflex. Our bodies understand how to be underwater. And so we wanted to kick in that reflex, which makes your airways seal off. It makes your your pulse rate slow down. It makes your blood vessels constrict and diverts blood into the main arteries, and then your spleen releases more red blood cells to carry more oxygen. So you would pull yourself down slowly to each of those meter points to kick in your mammalian reflex. As I'm descending down, you feel the pressures of the ocean, and so you have to equalize your ears. Those are the little squeaks that you are hearing, is me blowing through my nose, equalizing my ears so they don't explode with the increased depths of the ocean. This was a 15-meter drop that I pulled myself down to. When you're going back up, you're trying to keep your head looking straight forward and pull yourself up slowly. Your body is telling you, rush to the surface, it's right there, you can take a breath, because you feel like you need to breathe. Yesterday I held my breath for a little over 3 minutes. I knew I could hold my breath a lot longer, but you still want to race to the top. This is teaching you that when you have that urge, slow is better, you're burning less oxygen, you can hold your breath longer, just take it easy. Breathe. Breathe. All right. Good job, how'd that feel?
It was easier than I thought.
Yeah, all right. You see how close that dumbbell is?
Yeah.
It's right there.
At the 10 meters, I was like, yeah, this is a little longer away. And then as I got closer, it's like, yeah, it's getting closer faster than I thought.
So here I'm breathing up. You use diaphragm breaths to bring the air down into your lower lungs that have a lot more, it absorbs a lot more oxygen down there. They're a lot more proficient. So you're breathing with the bottom of your lungs, using your diaphragm to suck it in so that you have more oxygen in your lungs and you can go a lot deeper. It also slows your heart rate down so that you're using less oxygen, but there's also a time here when you're breathing up where you're trying to slow your mind down and kill the anxiety that you know you're going to be going deeper. Especially for me, being a new free diver, where I hadn't been this deep repetitively, there was a little certain level of anxiety knowing that it was going to be harder than what I had done previously. So I'm pulling down this time all the way down to 20 meters. Here at 10 meters, which is this mark here, I believe, is where they call it, you go into negative buoyancy, which means you sink. Above that point, you float to the top. If you have your weight set right, which I was way too heavy before, it's one of the first things that Mike corrected, is to get the right weight, because once you get down to depth and you're negative buoyant, now you have less oxygen, you're fighting to get back up to the top. So I was really playing with fire by having too much weight going down to depth, because I really risked those shallow water pass outs where you fall asleep underwater and then you sink rather than coming back up to the top. So Mike dropped down every time with us. He stays right in front of us. He's giving direction, but there's also some moral support down there, knowing that somebody can bring you up if anything were to go wrong. So I let breaths out right at the very last, right before I get up to the top. So once your head pops above water, you're ready to take those recovery breaths. Fill the top of your lungs where you can get the oxygen the fastest. Breathe. Good job.
That was fun.
Yeah. Is that the deepest you ever gone?
It is.
Right on.
I think, I mean, I've never had a watch, but I've never
Felt that deep?
never felt that deep. And you always overestimate how deep you really are, right?
For sure.
You're always like, I'm 60 feet down and you're really 25.
Yeah. Especially when the water's clear.
Yeah.
Or actually the other way around. Actually, the other day when we were super deep, I thought like the fish were smaller because it was so clear that they looked like they were like right there. And then and I kept swimming. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, this fish is bigger. He's just swimming in more. That's pretty common for like guys that first start blue water. They just shoot and they miss by a mile because the fish is way further away than they thought.
Oh, interesting. Because they don't have anything to base their distance off of.
Exactly, yeah. So one of the things that he was correcting there that I have a bad habit of doing, and I think a lot of new divers do, is you want to look where you're going. But when you bend your neck up, you're not going straight down, you're going at an angle, but you're also plowing a whole bunch of water with your face, which adds resistance, makes it harder to go down. You have to kick harder, which in turn burns more oxygen. So that's what I continue to try to correct, and he was correcting in me, is to direct my head the right way so I wasn't plowing water. So these are those deep breaths where you suck in with your diaphragm, breathe out through your nose slowly, slow down your heart rate, and breathe the right way. So now I'm kicking down. The first 10 meters, you kick a little bit harder when you're positively buoyant because you're fighting the drag to the top of the water. Once you break that 10 meters, you just kind of start to drop and you can kick a lot easier. Oop, I was only going to 15 meters that time, and then cruising back up. You can see that I'm looking up at the surface. That's one sign that I felt like I had to breathe, but it's also, I'm doing it incorrectly. I should be looking straight ahead at that rope rather than looking up at where I'm going.
Try to correct in the moment underwater when we can't talk is
Yeah, that's
difficult. But so if I go back down and you feel me tap something, then think
that
why is
whatever you
tapping
tap.
this? Like what could I be changing about this?
Yeah, and my head position was off for.
So I've got the hand in the right place, which is something that I hadn't done the other two times, which he was trying to correct on me. You can hear me equalizing as I drop down. Just passing the 10-meter mark, and then you can see that I accelerate the amount of descent. I'm not kicking any harder, if anything less. And then on the way back up, you have to kick hard at the bottom because again you're getting dragged down now, so you have to kick hard at the bottom. Then once you reach the 10-meter mark, it's a little breaststroke and you just cruise on the way to the top.
Where's the safety?
One of the big things that Mike was super intense about and that he kept reiterating was safety, 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 safety. So I'm really glad for that because I'm a much safer diver and so are the people I'm diving with. This was my last dive. We're kicking down to the bottom rather than pulling. This was the second time that I'd gone down to 20 meters, but I wanted to correct some things, kicking too fast, ascending the wrong way. So I did the 20-meter drop again. 20 meters is 66 feet. So I'm down there at the weight, turn around, calmly ascend with my hands over my head, kicking slowly. Mike's there telling me to do something that I wasn't doing before. Breaststroke, breathe out, catch your recovery breaths.
Breathe. Breathe. Nice. Good job. How'd that feel?
It felt awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Right on. Dad, how much flash? Huh? You weren't close enough. That's flashy. Yeah, if I'm in the way coming up, like I said, just run over me. I'm not gonna take offense to it. Just do your primary job as a safety and be in the right spot. So, good job. Excellent, man. That's your PB.
Yeah.
When you feel ready, I'm not rushing you. Whenever you go, you go.
So it was actually my first time dropping down. This is my second time dropping down. Breaststroke to get started and break the surface. Big kicks at first. There's the 20 meters or 66 feet. He's telling me to put my hands over my head. Then do a breaststroke for the surface. You can't see him, but he tells me to let my air out here so that I'm ready to take that breath right when I get to the surface. Then I've got my safety guy there making sure that I'm okay. So I give him the okay sign. Giving the okay sign means my mind is working, but also my motor skills are working, which means that my mind is okay and I'll recover.
Slow it down just a little bit on the ascent, but other than that, like, Look great, man. Good job.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
PB, good job, man.
High fives all the way around for PB, personal best. And now one of the other divers that I went diving with the next day, this is Kamu, he's a 17-year-old kid, great diver, super comfortable in the water. He took the course to get better and to be safe along with his father, and I went diving with them actually the next day after this to go spearfishing down here at Ka'alu'alu when I lost my GoPro.
Good job, dude. Good job, brother. I was like,
so after we did the diving, we had done a lot of class work about safety, and here we're going over some of that again, a refresher of yesterday, but doing real life scenarios. Mike dove down, he dove down to 10 meters, and then at that point he ran into trouble or acted as such, and so it was our job to dive down and rescue that diver that was having problems. Here he was simulating a shallow water pass out to where we had to go down, grab him, bring him to the top, and then the mammalian reflex that I talked about, you've got to take their mask off so they feel the wind across their eyes, so you blow, tap, and talk. That way their body recognizes it's above water, and it will take a gasp of air to wake them back up.
Find some random guy on Facebook message board that tells you he dives 100 feet and he shoots all kind of fish and he's a badass, and you go with him, and knowing what you know now, you're like, oh, this guy doesn't seem like he's as legit as he makes himself out to be, which is, I've heard this story from many different people that have been in this situation, and you see what you see upon this guy surfacing.
So here he wasn't telling you exactly what was going to happen, he was setting the stage for you. This is a diver that you met on the street. He says, I'm awesome, we're gonna go out diving. So you get out there, he dives down, and then you see him struggling. So it was my job to rescue Mike from whatever the situation was. I saw his shoulder struggling, which means he's fighting to get to the surface. He launches out of the water, and then he starts to convulse, have spasms.
So, good job. You noticed, what were the indicators that I was about to have a problem?
Your shoulders are moving all the way up.
That's been me so many times.
You skyrocketed out of the air. They started to have
Perfect.
the samba.
Good job.
Hey, come on.
Practice the holds, practice the the procedures and stuff. It's gonna help. Like, it's all muscle memory. Knowing you got a solid buddy watching your back takes a lot of pressure off of you.
You know, this makes me more, I don't want to say nervous, but respect the ocean more, because you saw me diving by myself.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, that was a really bad idea.
Diving by yourself is always a really bad idea, especially at South Point. Like, you're at the end of the earth down there. Help is so far away.
Yeah.
And that's if anyone even recognizes that you caught a cramp, and next thing you know, you're getting swept out. You know? It's not even just the shallow water blackout thing, it's everything. That's wild water, man. You can see anything out there.
Yeah.
You're by yourself is kind of sketchy.
So if you guys ever want to go to South Point.
Hell yeah, man. Okay, so we're done with the water stuff. You guys, your dives look great. You know, obviously, we'll talk about it on land. Like,
so one of the things that was of great value that I didn't even recognize I'd get is the partnerships that I made while I was there at the class. Hey, what's up, guys? What an epic day of diving out here. So the instruction was top notch. Got my personal best on breath hold time, a little over 3 minutes, reached 20 meters, 66 feet. Super stoked about it. Now I'm here at Richardson Beach, one of the most picturesque beaches over here on the Hilo side. One of the first beaches that I came to, I landed here on the Big Island, dropped my stuff at the hotel here, rushed over to this beach and jumped in the water to go snorkeling 5 years ago. It's a little bit chilly because it's brackish water, but it's awesome to get into the water. A lot of wildlife, you almost always see sea turtles in here, so it's a great place to bring the family to. Picnic tables, tons of shade, awesome trees, great grassy area. Gets pretty busy on the weekends. Now it's named Richardson Beach because of this house right behind me over here. It was owned by George Richardson back in the 20s, and then was given to the county of Hawaii, or the state of Hawaii, and that's where it got its name from. Where he got the property from, there was a family named the Mallow family that owned all this land down here. They got sick with typhoid fever. Elena, the wife, came over here to Richardson, the owner here, or he was out here on a boat, said, my family's sick. He loaded them on the boat, rushed them to the hospital. They still lost a couple of kids, but David Mallow, the owner of the land, thought that they would have lost the entire family if it wasn't for the efforts of George Richardson. So he told him in 1920 to help build a house. He recommended the build structure of these big doors on the front and back to help with some of the water that rushes in. That's why it still stands today in this area. So epic place, guys. I couldn't have asked for better diving conditions. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I loved the personal best. If you can and want to, take some dive lessons. Michael Jutt, the guy that did them, phenomenal teacher, great instructor. I felt super safe the entire time that I'm doing it. I'll leave his information here. He's not asking me to do this. I'm doing it because I want to get him business and pay him back for what he taught me. But hey guys, been an epic day, great time. Thank you so much for being here. Like, follow, share, subscribe, do all those things and show me some love. And otherwise, I'm Josh Buck. This is my high life. This is Shaka Therapy.